please give a very warm welcome to Betty Hooper.
Okay, well, I'm an independent researcher, and I was teaching way back in the 40s and 50s. I was teaching intellectually handicapped children, because in those days they went into, usually if you had a mentally handicapped child, they went straight into institutions. Due to the war, we were short of beds, so they were hauled out. So I was part of a pilot scheme to teach handicapped children. That was probably one of the good things, if you could call it a good thing, coming out of the war. It was exciting times. These children had never seen the light of day. Anyway, by the 60s, by that time I did not have any children coming into my school with this pseudo thing called ADD and ADHD. It's not that, it's plain old hyperactivity that raised its head round about, I would say, the end of the 60s, after Ben Feingold did a lot of work regarding diet and behaviour, regarding preservatives and the colourings food, although it had been done long before him. A guy by the name of, I think it was Dr. George Gould, back in 1910, found the red colourings in food that they were using in the States was upsetting people. However, by the end of the 60s, Ritalin came on board. This was due to the fact that the American psychiatrists wanted to find new mental disorders. Their first DSM, which is the Diagnostic Statistic Manual, only had 131 pages and 114 mental disorders. Now, if you had one of these, you'll find a little tiny wee slip on the inside. I'm not going to read it, it's an affirmation. They wanted to find new mental disorders, so they made them up. And they looked at hyperactivity, and they took two disorders, and they turned it into ADD and ADHD. That's what it's known as. It's not, it's plain old hyperactivity, due mostly to all the junk food we're having. The junk food wasn't around in my day. It wasn't around in the 40s or 50s. It became evident very slowly at the end of the 60s. And with the incidence of the rise in obesity, diabetes, and hyperactivity, they've all gone hand in hand. And it keeps rising. I think we have over 4,500 children now in New Zealand on Ritalin. Ritalin is a killer. It will kill you. A lot of children in the States have died of it. Ritalin is addictive. If your child's on Ritalin, in the States, that child can never enter the military, because Ritalin is a class 2 drug. It's the same as morphine, cocaine and heroin. And in New Zealand, they are giving it to children aged 2 years old. You are not supposed to give it to children under the age of 6, according to the physician's desk reference. But they are giving it to 2-year-olds. As soon as you put that Ritalin tablet into your child's mouth, that's the downward spiral to becoming a drug addict. I did my first presentation publicly in '94. I've done 4 last year, and I'm meeting young men who've been to the corrections department at NAFA probably 4 times. I've met them. They've all been on Ritalin as children. Please, don't let your grandchildren get onto Ritalin. They are the future of New Zealand. And if they're going to go on, in 20 years' time, we're going to have everybody on Ritalin. It is a killer. It is completely unnecessary. Look to see what your child is eating. I've gone back to the workforce again. I teach twice a week at Whangarei school. I'm teaching the slow readers. I've got one little girl, she can't sit still, stand still, she's all over the place. What did you have for your breakfast? Had a milky drink. What did you bring for your dinner? Oh, I brought my favourite sandwiches. Do you bring your favourite sandwiches every day? Yes. What are your favourite sandwiches? Golden syrup sandwiches, full of sugar. No wonder she can't sit still or stand still. In time, that child will be on Ritalin, and that will be the end. That will be the downward spiral to being a drug addict. Please don't do it. I have tried to interest the parliamentarians for donkey's years. I've got so fed up because I don't know, they told me that it's a worldwide problem. That's why I went to Cuba. I went dead cold. I didn't know I was going to sleep the third night. I found a family that would take me in. Fortunately, they had a daughter who worked she was at the university, and I was introduced to two doctors who eventually poked me in the back door, and I had a half-day session with the professor of nutrition. Population of 11.5 million in Cuba, virtually unknown. Hyperactivity is virtually unknown. No fast foods. Cuba is 80% organic. She has no GE, and every child gets a free freshly cooked organic meal every day. Nothing. There are no. I went to as many schools as I could walk to. Okay, I've got 2 seconds. The schools I visited did not have any child playing up. Now you're going to see a few slides here, so